Hey everyone, great to see you again. By way of introduction, my name is Ian, and I'm the product manager for the compliance group under the governance stage here at GitLab. Joining me is the EM for the group, Nate Rosendich, and today I just want to share with you what we're looking to work on for the 17.4 release and the problems that we're hoping to solve with these initiatives for all of our GitLab customers. So as usual, I'll cover off the priority list here, and Nate will then take over the recording and cover off the work that we'll be doing for each of these initiatives for the 17.4 release. So kicking it off, we'll talk about custom adherence configuration. So we finished the design phase for custom status adherence in 17.3, and we started sort of looking into some of the backend work there. And now for 17.4, we will now primarily focus on key backend and front-end issues regarding how we'll implement this in the product. And again, just to keep everyone up to date on what this initiative is, this is really focused on creating the new way in which we make a framework in GitLab. So ensuring that we have a relationship between framework, requirement, and check, rather than what's in GitLab now, which is framework and or standard, and then having a check basically linked to that. So really making sure that we are adding the new ability to scope, to have requirements under frameworks, and then being able to scope a check to that requirement as well, which is a key capability missing in the product today. And yeah, it will help us to obviously align better with how the industry understands compliance as well. Moving into the second part of the list, so it's compliance pipeline to security policy migration. So just taking a quick step back to let everyone know that we've actually announced the deprecation of compliance pipelines recently as part of the 17.3 release post, with the removal of compliance pipelines slated for the 18.0 release. Grant Hickman, who's the senior PM for the security policies group, and myself have actually recorded a video talking about this, as well as the reasons why we decided to go ahead with this deprecation, as well as touching a little bit on pipeline execution policy type, which is the new way to enforce your compliance jobs in GitLab, as opposed to compliance pipelines. So feel free to watch this video when you have the time, because this goes into a lot more in-depth explanation about the reasons why we decided to deprecate compliance pipelines and moving it to security policies. But yeah, as part of this work, coming back to this initiative, we're looking to move into the plans for 17.4, which is essentially to create a new warning banner for 17.4, which will, again, just emphasize and highlight to users that compliance pipelines is being deprecated, and to encourage users to move their compliance pipelines to security policies, or to create, instead of creating compliance pipelines, to create pipeline execution policy types instead. So we're hoping to continue working on that at 17.4 and to release that for 17.4 as well. Cool. And moving into the third part of the list, so add compliance adherence requirement for each security scanner. So again, this initiative is about adding more checks to GitLab, and these checks are going to be attached to the security scanning abilities that we have in GitLab. So as can be seen here, we've got a bunch of them here: SAS, secret detection, dependency scanning, container scanning, and the like. So we are hoping to add a check here, which will at least at first let users know that the scan has been enabled for the project. And for the 17.4 release, we'll be hoping to add at least one, maybe two, but at least one check for one of those security scans into the product. So, and we'll keep everyone up to date as to which scan that will be once we've decided on that. Moving on from that, we are going to continue working on the third-party connector to Snowflake. And again, this will just be working on adding more APIs into the connector. 5 and 6, again, these are going to be around the performance of audit events. So we just want to continue working on the sales initiative, as well as consolidation of tables for streaming audit events. And again, this is just to ensure that audit streaming remains performant and efficient for our users in the future. And finally, 7 and 8, these are initiatives that we've actually already released, but we're just going to be working on some minor updates and minor issues that have cropped up since. And so just finishing up some of that work at the end as well. So yeah, so that's the full priority list there. I'll now hand it over to Nate to chat about the engineering work involved for 17.4. So Nate, over to you.
Awesome, thanks, Ian. Yeah, so the top priority, as mentioned, is the custom adherence configuration. Over the last two milestones, we have been doing the back-end implementation planning and completed the design. We've also completed the front-end implementation planning. So we have begun work on a lot of the database migration work and started into the APIs. We've also begun work on the initial front-end changes that will be needed that don't require the big back-end changes or feature flags. So we're looking to release a lot of that work in 17.4. The next one is the migration from compliance pipelines to policy migrations. So we have the banner completed and is currently hidden behind a feature flag. During our testing, we realized we needed to make a few minor changes to the post-migration workflow. So we're currently working through those issues at the moment, and we'll be, fingers crossed, rolling out that feature flag globally in 17.4 so that we can start getting people to migrate over. Next, we have the security scanner checks. So we have done a lot of investigation and planning in 17.3, and we have a good plan on adding the initial checks for a majority of the scanners, and we're hopefully going to get two of those completed, and we're looking at SAST and DAST to begin with. But yeah, we'll keep that updated in here with which ones come out. Next is the third-party connector. So we've over 17.2 and 17.3, we had a few issues around upgrades and to just getting things working properly. So we're hopefully going to add one new API. The projects and groups APIs are currently in development, and so hopefully we can get one of those across the line. Next is the sales work. So we've completed all of the database migration work, and the audit events are currently migrating over and are expected to take 1 month. We have started the work into the projects and groups controllers to use these new tables. So hopefully we'll start seeing a lot of the, we can start testing that out in 17.4 and rolling it out in 17.5 and seeing a lot of those performance improvements. The consolidation of audit events, streaming audit events. All of the APIs have been completed now, and we're just working through doing the database migration so that we can enable or migrating all of the settings over to the new tables so that we can enable this new streaming audit events system, and looking to roll that out this release as well. Multiple compliance frameworks was released in 17.3, and we're just doing the finishing little touches, including adding filtering to all of the reports in the compliance center. And so we're hopeful to complete that out in 17.4. And likewise with the compliance center for project and subgroup level, we rolled out the subgroup level in 17.3. And so we're hopefully going to get the project level and a few little minor follow-up issues all completed in 17.4. And that's the list. Back to you, Ian.
Awesome. Thanks, Nate. Yeah, that's it from us today. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you at the next one. See ya.
Catch you.